Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax, and today I'm going to guide you through a 10-minute seated Pilates routine, and the theme is going to be circles. So during today's session you're going to need a nice upright chair, something like a dining room chair. You're going to need plenty of space around you so you don't crash into any furniture or plants, and I want you to make sure that that's a chair that's not on wheels because that wouldn't be very safe either. So let's begin by finding our start position. So we want those feet to be about hip width apart, and we want those ankles to be directly beneath our knees. So we've got that nice 90-degree angle there. Let's also think about that lengthening of the spine and those wide collarbones. So imagine that you've got a helium balloon tied to the crown of your head, pulling you up towards the ceiling, and those wide collarbones, practically like your shoulder blades are trying to touch the walls either side of you. We need to think about centering our pelvis as well. We sit on our hands, so you can feel your sitting bones underneath your bottom there. And as I go into a slouch, I rock off of those sitting bones slightly, they become less prominent, and then if I go back up into that mid position, you'll feel they become a bit more noticeable again. And then if I sit upright like a sergeant major, again I rock off of the sitting bones. So we want that nice mid position where they're most prominent. So you might rock back and forwards just a couple of times and then stop in that mid position, and then we know we've centered our pelvis. And the other thing for today's session is we need to engage those core muscles. So I'm sure you're familiar with it, but if you pop your hands roughly where your tummy button is and then just go a few inches either side, if I let my belly relax, when I engage the core, it's that action of scooping that lower part of my tummy in between the belly button and the pubic bone. It's about a 60% contraction, and I'll often say it's a bit like you're trying to do up a tight pair of jeans that you're just trying to breathe in your belly, but you should be breathing normally in the upper chest, and you should be able to talk, and if you turn in blue then you're just probably bracing the whole of this abdomen. So it's just this lower part of us, and it's a gentle action of scooping it inwards. Right, so begin with some gentle warm-up movements. So let's start by making some circles with our shoulders. So let's bring those shoulders forwards, really feeling that stretch between the shoulder blades, and then up towards our earlobes, and then bring those shoulder blades back so they're pinching together, really stretching that chest outwards, and then bring those shoulder blades down towards the floor like you're trying to touch your elbows against the floor, and then relax and give those arms a little shake. And now we're going to move on to doing some movements with our neck. So again, from that nice starting position, let's try and trace a semicircle with our nose. So unless you're an owl, you might not be able to do a full circle here, but let's try and draw a nice horizontal line all the way over towards one shoulder. Hold for a few seconds, and then back to the middle. And again, let's draw that horizontal line towards the other shoulder. You might get a few pops and creaks, but don't force into any sharp pains. And then back towards the other side again. Drawing that nice horizontal semicircle. And then back to the middle again and towards the other side. There we go, so we've warmed up our neck and shoulders. So the next movement we're going to make some circles with is the double leg stretch, which is actually an arm exercise. So the initial movement as we engage the core and as we breathe out is to bring the arms upwards, and then as we breathe in again we make a circle where we bring them back to the start position. So you might go all the way up to the ceiling and make a massive big circle, or it might be you just do some smaller movements. So you're the boss. Do what feels right, and let's get started. So engage the core, and as we breathe out, up towards the ceiling, and then as you breathe in, making that circle. So you carry on at a pace that's right for you, remembering to do it with the breathing. So here we go. So breathing out as we go up, and breathing in as we return to the start position. Keep on going at a pace that's right for you. And from that same start position, we can also do an arm opener. So this time I'm going to bring one hand like it's drawing a nice horizontal line, out and behind me, and I follow that movement with my line of sight, and then back in it. And if we engage the core and do that on an outward breath again, we'll get extra activation of those tummy muscles. Here we go. So I draw that core muscle in, and as I breathe out, I move back and behind me, and breathe in as I come back to the start position. Well, we've made a nice horizontal circle, and now we can make one up and around us. So let's try and do a movement called the Mermaid. So we're going to start with the arms out to each side this time. And what I want you to try and do for me, one of the arms is going to go down towards the floor, and the other arm up to the ceiling. And if you're able to, you can even look at the palm of your hand there. And then we're going to bring the arms back to the start position and do the same to the other side. So here we go. And again, we can synchronize that with engaging our core and our breath. So let's do a few more, shall we? So engage the core as we breathe out. And breathe in. And the same to the other side. So engage that core muscle, and as we breathe out, and back in again. So we've done a few exercises for the shoulders. Let's bring our attention now towards the legs. So from the start position, we're going to again bring that tummy muscle in, so we engage that core. And what I want you to try and do for me now is lift up one of your knees off of the floor. So should we start with your right leg and lifting that foot off of the floor, and now imagine there's a paintbrush tied to your knee there, and you're going to make some small circles, and whichever direction those circles you're making, remember that, because then we're going to do the same in the opposite direction in a moment. So when you've made about 5 circles, let's bring that leg back down again, and then we do exactly the same, but this time making circles in the other direction. And back down. And let's do the same on the other leg. So this time on your left, again, draw the core muscle in, lifting that foot off of the floor and making 5 circles, like you've got a paintbrush tied to your knee there. And again, once you've done that in one direction, bring the leg back down, and then again, find that good posture, engage the core muscle, lift that foot off of the floor, and make 5 circles in the opposite direction. There we go. So now we're going to bring our attention to the legs, doing a single leg stretch. What I want you to try and do for me this one is bring the leg up in front of you, making that nice sweeping vertical line. And you might say, well, that's not very circular. But what we can do is, as we go up, hold that position and try and make some circles with our ankle. So again, let's do 5 circles one way, and you're really going to feel that in that thigh muscle, and then back down again. And then let's do the same on the opposite side. So again, I straighten my knee up, making 5 circles, and back down again. And let's keep on going. So again, engage that core muscle. And remember, if you're struggling to stay upright, you can sit with the backrest supporting you at this point. And back down, and then the same. So we're going to alternate, and I don't really mind which directions you're doing your circles in there, as long as you're working those muscles on the front of your thigh. And back down again. So let's now go on to do a cat stretch. And again, the cat stretch is that movement where we engage that core muscle, and then as we breathe out, try and curl up into a ball there. Or we can make that even more of a circle if we use our arms, and imagine that you're hugging a giant big beach ball, and then opening out nice and wide, poking your chest out there. And again, engage that core muscle, and as we breathe out, imagine that you're curled up around a big beach ball, and then shake those arms off. Well, there you go. There's our 10 minutes of seated Pilates for today. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to click the like button, and if you click subscribe you can keep up to date with all of my latest publications, and if you've got any words of encouragement or suggestions then leave a comment. Thanks for watching and see you soon.